All right, so I'm gonna jump right in. Hello, I am King Christopher. For anybody that does not know me, welcome to Man in Flow. I'm gonna hop right into it. We are completely in flow today. Normally speaking, I would sit here a little nervously, awkwardly, trying to figure out how I wanted to start the episode. We are not doing that today because I have a lot to say, and it's somewhat of a short time. A few things to note: you will hear my dog. He is a pug. He does do this breathing thing to let you know that he's here, he's alive, he's well. It's going to sound like somebody snoring. There's not a sleeping man in my. It's my dog. All good things. If you can ignore it, treat it like background noise, like I do. We'll be better off. Trigger warning. As if you listen to the "What Are We Even Talking About" podcast with myself and PJ, you will know that we tend to give those because sometimes we have heavy conversations. I'm not going to say this is going to be a heavy conversation, but I will say that there will be several people who will hear the things that I have to say and they will take it personally. Understand that I'm talking about you and that you might need to reflect on some things, and that's quite all right. So, today we're going to be talking about, well, wait, before I even go into what we're talking about, which you'll see it when you see the title, but that's okay. Um, I'm going to start off by talking about betterment. And I think it's something that's a part of so many conversations. You often hear people talking about mental health, you hear people talking about fitness, diet, just getting better in whatever ways that you can. I have had this conversation recently with some friends as to where I think that in some way, even if it's not conscious, even if it's not something that you have listed out on a goal card, we're all actively trying to work towards becoming better in some. I'll be honest, I've met a few fucked up people in my lifetime that don't care anything about that. And that's okay. God bless them on their journeys. Hopefully, they get to a place of being better so that they can start seeking better for themselves. 11:11. It is 11 a.m. with 11 minutes beyond the hour Central Standard Time. So I'm looking over just now and recognizing that. But with that being said, I one of my biggest prayers for a really long time, and it's funny because I don't say it as often as I used to in my conversations with God, but a big prayer for me for a really long time was, God, please make me better. In whatever ways that I can be better, please make me better. And another part of that was like, please let me love myself so much that it doesn't matter when there's no one else around to love me. Two of my biggest prayers. For me in my life, just to kind of shed a little light on me personally, I'm in a space now where I'm actively working on being better as far as commitment to myself specifically. I think for a really long time, I told myself the things that I wanted. I told myself all the things that I wanted to accomplish. I let myself know, hey, these are the goals that we have set. We want to have, especially when I was younger, like we want to do this by this age, and by this time we want to do this. And then once we get here, that's not the ceiling. We want to go further and we want to do that. But a big issue for me in regard to anything in my lifetime, and I try not to make excuses for it. My therapist and I have this conversation all the time about how my having ADHD honestly serves as a reason for a lot of the ways that things show up for me in life, but I try not to allow that to be my crutch because for me, I want to believe that I'm able to move beyond that and not necessarily limit myself to the idea that I have this situation that a lot of people have. And it shows up for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. But with all of that being said, a big part of my struggle areas for a long time has been struggling with commitment to myself as far as doing the things that I say that I want to do, not doing the things that I told myself I don't need to do, being consistent with habits and routines that I've set for myself that make life better for me, makes things more efficient, makes me feel more productive, makes me feel more grounded, makes me feel more healthy, makes me feel more active. At what point I was doing all of these different things, which on some level I still do a lot of them, but like I'd wake up and I'd meditate and I'd pray and I'd journal and I'd start my day and I'd do a workout and I'd it's just kind of like this thing to kind of kick my day into gear. And then in the nighttime, I kind of did all the things over. It's like, let's go back to meditating and let's do a workout and let's do some push ups and do all these things. And I'm the type of person that's to where I get really excited about something in the beginning of it. And I really, really, really want to push myself to keep it going. But it's like, as soon as I start to slack off a little bit, it's like, oh, well, we'll try again next year. Which, if you're anything like me, I know I'm not the only person like that. I've had conversations with people who I have that in common with. So if you're anything like that, I'm just saying that I see you and that I am showing you grace, even if you can't show it to yourself, because I've had to learn how to start showing it to myself. But I think a big part of all of that for me is just trying to find ways to make life a little bit better every day, trying to lean more and more into tolerating the things that are not good, learning to find peace in the things that I can't control, learning to continually work towards seeking the things that I want, which at this point, very simple things. I want to be happy. I want to experience peace. I want to feel joy. I want to feel love all the time, not just sometimes. I want to feel love all the time, and not from other people, but from myself. So that when other people are introduced into my space, they see the way that I love me and it inspires them to love me better. But one of the things that I am starting to recognize, and this is how we ease our way into the conversation, is that a big part of betterment is learning to let go of the things that are keeping you from being better. How many people have problems with letting go? If you can't see me right now, I'm raising my hand. If you can't see me and you want to see me, go over to the YouTube. That's where I post the video. I don't think that I've ever said that since I've been here. It's so funny. Here we are now, week 4, and I'm just like, oh, I'm going to start another podcast. Let's do it. Yeah. You can stream us here if you're listening on a podcast platform. You can listen to it on Apple Music. You can listen to it on Spotify. You can listen to it on Amazon Music. I feel like there are a couple of other places, but I'm not necessarily familiar with all those. Maybe iHeart, maybe Deezer. I don't know if I've attempted to host there, but it might be there. But I'm definitely on YouTube if you ever want to actually see me in motion as I'm having this conversation. This is going to be episode 4. It is on the YouTube under Man and Flow Podcast. So, yeah, go check it out. Hopefully, I'm always awkward about how I move. I talk with my hands a lot. Look around a lot when I'm thinking or in deep thought. I look up, I have big eyes, like all of my insecurities show up in this place. But this is something that I want to do, and I'm going to stop letting fear, doubt, worry, and insecurity keep me from doing well. Those are things that I am definitely letting go of. But with all of that being said, now that you know where you can find me, um, yeah, a big part of being better is just learning to let go of certain things. One of the things that I struggle with when it comes to letting go, and this was me for a really long time. And it's funny because it shows up in many different ways. But a big thing that I struggle with letting go of is people. I have this conversation all the time about how, friendships as adults are so different from when they were as kids. Just like I do, a lot of times when we were young, you sat next to somebody in the class and that was your best friend. You had a neighbor next door or across the street, that was your best friend. Somebody let you borrow a pencil. And then from there, you all became friends. Like, I think it was so much easier navigating who was your friend and how to be friends and like just being friends with all of the friends. Like, it was such an easier thing to do. And I think sometimes we kind of may have people in our life that have been people in our life for many, many years, like people that we've known for a really long time. As we've grown, as life has happened, we've had different experiences. Maybe we've lived in different places. Maybe we've lived right next to each other. Like maybe these are people that you've been around for your entire life. As you looked around and as time has passed, you've grown up and you've realized, yeah, we've grown into two completely unique and different individuals. This isn't the same person that I was friends with as a kid. We're not blind, loud, excited chaos together. We've matured into two different people who now may have very different interests, may have very different experiences, maybe living very different journeys. And a lot of times, as sad as it may be to admit or to accept, you might get to a point as to where somebody that you've known all your life, you look up one day and realize, I don't really like this person anymore. And that's okay. I'm not saying that if that is the case, that means that you need to let that person go. However, if beyond that realization, you're starting to find that the ways that this person shows up in your life makes you uncomfortable, you feel judged, you feel constantly attacked, you feel constantly like you're being put under pressure by standards that they're setting for you. And because they're your friend, you feel like for whatever reason, you have to try to live up to those standards. I think it's important to recognize as you continue to grow and try to be a better individual for yourself um, that maybe it's time to reevaluate. Um, Everybody isn't meant to be a part of your life. I know we've heard it. I think it was a statement that was popularized by Tyler Perry in one of his plays. I don't remember which, but he said something along the lines of like, some people are not necessarily there for a lifetime. Like some people are there for a reason. Um, some people are there for a season. I can't remember the exact quote. That's why I was going to say I can't, definitely am not going to be able to reference the play, but something along the lines of that. Like some people really come into your life and they become a part of your journey and they're important to your experience. You have great memories. They help you throughout your process of development and throughout your journey of growing and becoming who you are. And then eventually you realize, okay, just like everything else, this has served its purpose. I'm grateful for what we have had. I'm grateful for the memories that I will always have. But at this point, it's not the same as it was. It's not necessarily serving me in the same way as it once did. In some ways, actually, it's hindering me. And then you have to ask yourself the question, if there are things in my life that I'm actively choosing to hold on to, things, people, places, experiences, whatever that is, that are hindering me, how am I going to get to this place of betterment that I felt myself I'm trying to get to? And again, I kind of talked about betterment really, really briefly, but betterment in regards to any aspect. You might want to be better with your finances. Might want to have a better career. You might want to be rich. You might want to lose weight. You might want to gain weight. You might want to be an athlete. You might want to be a bodybuilder. You might want to have some career in the arts that you've been like, pushing and working and grinding for all your life, and sometimes we don't recognize that or let me not limit it, you might want to improve your mental health. Sometimes we don't realize that we are holding on to anchors, things that are essentially weighing us down because we refuse to let them go. We believe that based on loyalty, we need to hold on to things, people, and places, experiences, jobs, relationships, family members, friends. If a car breaks down on you, what are you gonna do? You gonna get rid of it. You're not gonna keep driving around like you. Eventually, you're gonna get to the point as to where it's like, I put too much money into this car. I can't keep putting exhausting every dime in this motherfucker. It's not even worth this much at this point. If I tried to sell it, I wouldn't get this much money. But I'm putting thousands and thousands of dollars into it every year, trying to make it be better than what it is. Ultimately, it's time to get a new car. And it may suck because as much as you loved it, it might have been your first car. It might have been a car that you loved and just had so many great memories and whatever that is for you. But eventually you're going to get to that place of realizing like, yeah, this is stupid. This is a waste of time. This is a waste of money. As much as I hate to let it go, I have to. It's important to recognize that you can do that in all areas of your life. I think for me, one of the biggest areas that I've struggled with it for a really long time is in relationships. Um, I am the type of person as to where once I start to care about a person, and I'm working on it, I'm not saying this is something that I'm proud of. I'm not saying this is something that's a good thing. I'm saying this is something that I recognize about myself. I'm being trans. When I care about people, I take ownership of their shit. Their problems become my problems. Their emotions become my emotions. Their friends become my friends. The things that they deal with become the things that I'm now dealing with. And that's not okay. And that's probably a big part of why I've been single for this period of time because I'm aware that that's not okay. But with that being said, how that shows up for me sometimes is I may learn to recognize, yeah, this person doesn't treat me well. This person doesn't respect me. This person doesn't honor my boundaries. This person isn't showing up in ways that reflect a healthy relationship. I'm not capable of showing up in ways that help to show a excuse me, I'm not showing up in ways that reflect a healthy relationship with this person. And as much as I may, for whatever reason, feel like, okay, it's over. It's so funny. Tiana Taylor on her new album, Escape Room, she spoke to so many different things that I could relate to. Taco, come from over there. Forgive me. But she spoke to so many things that I could relate to just in regard to the idea of, you know, I should have been walked out this bitch a long time ago. This relationship should have been over. Sarah Paulson really cut deep with her interlude. And it's just one of those things as to where, like, for whatever reason, it's like, well, we've been together for so long and we love each other so much. And, they know my family and I know their family. And we have all these mutual friends. And God forbid if there are children involved, the kids. And what if we have shared bank accounts and credit and debts that we've established and all these different things and all these different excuses that you may make for like whatever reason that this relationship that you know is not good for you, that you know is unhealthy, that you know you really should have not allowed yourself to get this deep in. Furthermore, do you need to continue being a part of it? You just kind of ride it out because for whatever reason, you're telling yourself you don't want to give up. And then beyond that, God forbid they on whatever level struggle with their own mental health battles. So now you're worried about, well, if I leave, what if they do something harmful to themselves? What if beyond this point and I meet somebody new and they haven't moved on or tried to let go? What if they try to do something harmful to me or that person? Like there are all those different things that now you're having to consider. And I get that. I'm speaking of it firsthand. So I'm saying if you're listening and I'm talking to you, if you're able to relate to that experience, know that I get it because I've been there. But it's one of those things where what I always say is that, like, all right, bet I was born in by myself. And unless you're a twin, very likely you have the same narrative. Even if you are a twin, both of y'all niggas didn't come out of there at the same time. So 9 times out of 10, that's the experience. You came in by yourself. And if nothing else, you'll take your own last breath. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else is going to be able to share in that experience with you. So it's one of those things as to where while you're here, at least for me, and I can't speak for everybody, I have learned that what's common for me is not common to everybody else. But at least for me, I think that my goal on a very base level, outside of all the other goals that can expand upon this base, is to, in whatever ways that I can, have the best life possible, whatever that looks like. Whatever that looks like for me as far as career, whatever that looks like as far as where I live, whatever that looks like as far as my income, my social life, the experiences I have, the places I go, the things that I do, the things that I get to enjoy, eliminating spaces of, suffering and increasing spaces of joy, eliminating hardship and bringing about more ease. Whatever that is for me, I want to live the best life that I can, especially knowing that there's no guarantee on how much time I have left. There's no way for me to know. I can have another 10 minutes. I can have another 10 hours. I can have another 10 days. I can have another 10 months. I can have another 10 years. Who knows? As somebody with a pre existing condition, somebody that had stage 3 colon cancer, who has now been 11 years almost cancer free, but also is aware that both of my parents died in their early 50s. And I'll be 41 at the end of September. So, like, not to say that I'm living in fear, but just taking things into consideration. You just don't know. So, with that being said, it's one of those things as to where you kind of have to live your life for yourself. You have to live your life under this understanding that, hey, I don't know how much more time I got, but with the time I have, I want to do everything that I can to make my situation the best that it could be. I want to live the best version of this life that it could possibly be. And ultimately, if you're not there right now, if that's like your mindset, but you're not there, and you feel like on some level you're too far gone or you're too deep off in something, or for whatever reason, your life and its circumstances are not aligned with that mindset, you have to start making some really important choices. It's important to start reflecting and planning and budgeting and putting yourself in a position to recognize, like, okay, I want it. And based on the fact that I know that it's possible, like it exists, I've seen it happen for other people. So I want it because I know I can have it. I know I can. I just got to figure out how to get there. And once I figure out how to get there, have to start maneuvering. Start doing some research. Start like finding yourself in a position to be around people who maybe live lifestyles similar to the one that you want. Start finding yourself in conversations with people who inspire you based on their growth and the ways that they've improved and the ways that they've kind of gotten to a place of like being able to pick themselves up out of places and put themselves on better ground. It's never impossible. You just have to believe in it. But with that being said, I've kind of run into some situations lately, especially it's so weird. Like I always feel weird coming into my birthday month. I always have. I think as a kid, I never really did it big for birthdays. As I've gotten older, 30 was a really, really beautiful deal for me, but I also had cancer and thought that I was gonna die. And then beyond that, I think the next really special birthday was like the year that my mom died. So it was hard, but all my friends showed up for me. It was really, really amazing. And then I turned 40, and like 40 was at a place where I was just dealing with a lot. And the only thing I cared about was I wanted to be off work. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. I don't necessarily need to be around any other people. I just want to be off work. And so moving into like, we're at the end of August and September is coming around. For me, I think I'm in this space now, especially with all the things that I've been subscribing to lately and all the different ways that the universe has been showing me very direct signs about things that I'm experiencing in my life. I'm just at a place now where I feel like, honestly, my birthday and like just this period leading up to it is a season of transition for me. I literally feel myself on some level transforming. I feel myself growing. I'm watching actively things around me shift in ways that I don't think I would have imagined that they could. And a big part of that for me has been my willing to let certain things go. For a really, really long time, I talked about it. I talked about it in the very first episode. I was terrified to come back here into this space. My very last podcast that I was really proud of, I was really grateful for, I was really excited to do, kind of got to a point as to where I was just showing up because I told people I do a weekly podcast. So I felt obligated to press record and put something out every week. But me just being in my head and being this perfectionist and being this person that wanted things to look away and sound away and to feel away, and knowing that they did not, I kind of found myself in the space of feeling uncomfortable and like I wasn't proud of the work that I was doing anymore. And that basically I was just putting out some bullshit. Whereas now I've had to let go of all of that. Honestly, for anybody that doesn't know, I sit here in front of my iMac, I press record. As soon as I press record, I start talking. Once I feel like I've said everything that I have to say, I press stop. From here, I upload it to the podcast servers. I upload it to YouTube, and then I keep going on about my day. I came, accomplished what I intended to accomplish. The goal has been met. Anything beyond this, if anybody listens to it, perfect. If nobody listens to it, that's great too. I did what I needed to do to release what I needed to release in this moment and to remain in flow, which is such an important part of this whole experience. Man in flow. Like I want to, in whatever ways that I can, continue to flow with the universe in the best ways possible. So a big part of that for me was just letting go of this idea of perfectionism, this idea of, oh, I'm not in a studio, I'm in my room. If it's junky in here, if you can see like certain things poking out or sitting out or everything's not as perfect as it needs to be, okay, whatever. I'm the only person that has to live here. I'm the only person that has to sleep here. Me and my dog are the only people that have to be comfortable here. Whatever that looks like for you, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch. If there are noises in the background, if the audio isn't as perfect as it needs to be, that's okay. I did my best, and my best is all that I can ever offer. So, cool. I had to let go of being perfect or the need to be perfect and to just start doing what felt right to me in the moment. This feels right to me in the moment. Having conversations, being able to engage with people, lending my voice in ways that I feel like are positive and productive for me. Hopefully, finding myself in a space of believing that somebody can be inspired by some of the words that I have to say. Really, really, really significant and powerful for me. And that's what I'm moving towards. I'm not moving towards perfection. I'm moving towards significance and power. Now, with that, another thing that I recently had to let go of is stressing over shit that I cannot control. And I know a lot of times in the moment, because we're attached to the moment, that seems so much easier said than done. But one thing that I've found myself saying so much more in recent years is it's only easier said than done because you're always saying it and never trying to do it. As much energy as you put into saying it, maybe if you tried to do it, you can get closer to where you need it to be as far as doing it and it can be done. But all of that aside, I have actively, and I do it on a day to day basis, actively stop worrying about things that I can't control. I am in responsibility for myself. I take care of myself. I'm responsible for making sure that my body is good, that my mind is good, that my spirit is good, that my energy is good. Outside of me as a human being, I'm in charge of making sure that my dog is okay. I have to feed him. I have to make sure that he's taken care of as far as his health. I have to make sure that he gets out to use the bathroom. I have to make sure that he stays clean. There are several things that I'm responsible for him with him. As far as people in my relationships, I am responsible for what it is that we agree upon and what we decide to share on in a space of mutuality. I'm responsible to give you respect and to receive respect for you. I am responsible to show you kindness in the same way that I would like to receive kindness. I am responsible to provide love and support and all of those different things that it is that I'm seeking from another person with all of that. Oh, my sister just texted out something. I'm like, what? Okay, but back to my thought. The things that I'm not responsible for, I'm not responsible for your feelings. I know a lot of times throughout lifetime, we have this thought that, like, oh, well, so and so hurt my feelings. So it's their responsibility to make them better. One of the things that I've learned throughout my lifetime, and especially in therapy, is that, like, I'm the only person that can be held accountable for my feelings, no matter what somebody else has said and done. At the end of the day, they are not here to mend my wounds, as unfortunate of a awareness that that may be for some people, as hard of a concept that may be to grasp. Nobody else is responsible for that. If somebody cuts you, they're not the ones that go behind you and patch you up and make sure that it's not infected and give you medicine and do all those things. It's a doctor. And you have to make sure that you yourself can get to the doctor. Same way with your feelings. If somebody cuts you, it's not their responsibility to patch you up and to make you feel better and to give you the medicine that you need. It may be some therapy. It may be some healing work. It may be some shadow work. It may be some breath work. It may be whatever type of work. However, it's work that you have to take the initiative for yourself to do. You're responsible of managing your feelings. They're yours. They belong to you. They are personal. They are inner. They are part of who you are as, at your core. So nobody else in this world is responsible for managing them. Nobody else in this world is responsible for healing them. Nobody else is responsible for protecting them. That's all on you. Now, do people owe you courtesy, kindness, respect? Absolutely. You should demand that from others. You shouldn't want anybody in your life that's not willing to give those things to you. However, one thing that I have had to let go of is catering to other people's sensitivities and hindering myself from being able to show up fully as who I am in order to support those sensitivities. It's a big problem that I've had for a really, really long time as a person that suffered from low self esteem, as a person that was incredibly passive, as a person that always felt the need to please other people and to make other people happy, and as a person that just wanted to not rock the boat or ever be in conflict. At this point in my life, I refuse, and I'm gonna just say it plain. And this is for anybody that knows me, anybody that doesn't, anybody that wants to be a part of my life that isn't a part of my life yet, whatever that looks like. I refuse to allow myself to stop being who I am to let you be who you are. I say it all the time, and people that are, I have somebody that I was talking to, and I know they got sick of me saying it because I said it all the time, and it wasn't necessarily directed towards them, but I wanted to make sure that they heard it. Be you, be your complete self, be 200% of you, backflip into a split as you. However, understand that I will never stop being me to allow you to be you. I think a lot of times people, especially when they have lived hard lives or if they found themselves in positions as to where they're so used to being the center of attention, or when they find themselves in spaces as to where they've been used to people catering to them consistently for whatever reason, they expect that everybody is supposed to do that, and I'm not going to do it. I don't mind being compassionate. I don't mind understanding that you may be dealing with something right now and that that may require a little bit more care and conscience. conscientiousness. That word was about to fuck me up. I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is you're allowing that to be your excuse for poor behavior, and then in turn making another person wrong for not understanding that you're dealing with a lot right now and that they should be sensitive to what you're going through. Because if you live in America in 2025, I think it's a clear understanding that it's rare that you're not dealing with something. We're all dealing with something on some level, whether it's mental, spiritual, emotional, physical, financial, whatever it looks like, we are all dealing with something. We're all just trying to make it through the day. We are all trying to get to the fucking weekend. We are all trying to just get over this hump so that we can move into the next days of our lives. So it's not anybody else's responsibility to cater to you in regard to what it is that you may be experiencing. And it's also not fair for you to make anybody else feel bad for what you may be experiencing. Or as if for some reason, if them being themselves in a moment is wrong because it's not sensitive to what you may be experiencing, not doing it. And if that's a problem, as much as you may feel like, oh, well, you should, no, not doing it, nothing else I can say about it. Figure out what you want to do beyond that moment. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be me. And if that's a problem for you, if I'm wrong for that, God will tell me when it's time for me to know. But that's something that I'm letting go because honestly, it puts me under too much pressure. It puts me under too much stress. It puts me under too much negative energy to feel like now I'm having to walk on eggshells and to carry somebody delicately. I know we all heard Tiana Taylor say recently in an interview that, damn, I can't think of his name. Pretty Eyes, Simba, the guy that she's dating, he handles her like a cup of tea. I thought that that was so very beautiful. I thought that that was so very, like, such a beautiful thing to experience. And I think that there are so many people that might feel inspired by that. But one thing that I've honestly learned to recognize is that if you know that you're dealing with somebody and you're choosing to actively be a part of their care, you're choosing to actively embrace them, you're choosing to actively ease your way gently into their lives because you understand the hurt that they've been through and you want to make them aware that they can find a place of safety with you and that they don't have to worry about the things that they worried about in the past with you and that the ways that you've had to experience whatever with anybody else before, you don't have to experience it they don't have to experience it with you. Absolutely. Like a cup of tea. This is not tea, this is coffee. However, for me, one thing that I've always said, and I had to talk to my therapist about it because for a long time I struggled. Like my thing was, okay, why is it that I can give so many chances to relationships, but I have a strong issue when it comes to like giving multiple chances to friends? Because for me, after I've told you how I feel about something, I'm not expecting for you to stop being who you are. If that's just you, be you. And I realize that all the time. But if you care about me and this friendship is important, I told you that something that you're doing is bothering me, upsetting me, making me uncomfortable, hurting my feelings, whatever that looks like. Me telling you that is me initiating kind of like this covenant. Hey, I don't like that. That's not cool. And if you want to be my friend, I'm not gonna be able to rock with that. So beyond that point, if this issue comes up again, yeah, I'm gonna go. Because why am I still having to, as if we're kids? Because we're not. I'm in my 40s. I don't talk to anybody that's 18, 19, 20 years old. God bless y'all, but those aren't people that are actively a part of my day-to-day conversations. So if we're all adults, well into our adulthoods, why am I having to constantly tell you to stop doing shit that I don't like? Why am I having to tell you that the ways that you're showing up are making me feel uncomfortable or making me feel uneasy? Yeah, I'm letting it go. Because ultimately, what that's going to do is it's going to create stress for me. It's going to make me feel uneasy. It's going to make me feel bad because now I have this issue with my friend and I'm sad because I feel like my friend's hurt and they're upset, but I'm also standing on business because I feel like I'm hurt and I'm upset and I didn't do anything wrong, but now I have to feel bad because they're upset about some shit. It's like I'm not battling with my friends. I can gratefully say, and it's so funny because if there is somebody out there right now that's plotting on me, I pray to God get you everywhere you need to be because I don't know about it and I'm not thinking about it and I'm not losing a wink of sleep about it. But with that being said, I don't have enemies. So to know that I don't have enemies and that that is a blessing for me, I for damn sure am not about to be sitting up here arguing with no motherfucking friends. I for damn sure am not about to be sitting up here stressed out over somebody that I call my friend. For what? To say that I can have you in my life? Oh, it's great and I appreciate the value in it, but if I can remove you and not have to deal with this shit, yeah. Love you, bless you. I appreciate the memories, but I'm gonna go. Another thing that I've had to learn to do recently, as far as just my own personal journey and betterment, is not sticking around too long when you recognize that some shit ain't going the way that you want it to go. I was recently involved in an experience with somebody where I tell everybody, and I've actively said this on many different platforms, so I'll say it here. I say all the time that I am not currently sexual or romantic. And the reason for that is that I believe that where I am in my journey, I am actively seeking to grow in all the ways that I need to as an individual before I try to become a part of a unit. And I know how distracting certain things can be for me. I know how certain things can take me off of my path when I'm working towards personal goals and I become intermingled with another person. I've proven it to myself over and over and over again. So with that, I'm just not. However, there are moments where, and this is me being perfectly fair and honest to people that might have felt like I was unfair. There are moments where there are people that come in and present a certain level of energy, who say things in a way that I can appreciate, that make me feel respected in a way that I can appreciate, and open my mind to the idea of, if nothing else, entertaining, allowing them the opportunity to get to know me. And that comes from a place of confidence that I have not always had. I know for other people, it might have sounded like, damn, that's a little arrogant, allowing them the opportunity to get to know you. But yes, because that's a privilege. My time, my effort, my energy, my attention, my personality, all of those are things that are privileges to experience, as are yours, as are theirs. So, with that, I feel like what I struggle with, and it's always been this way, and I will never understand it. But as a gay Black man, throughout my experience, somebody that has actively been involved with men since 18, I will be 41 in 29 days. I will never understand how men can put so much effort and energy into expressing their interests. Oh, I think you're so handsome and you seem so this and you seem so great. And just please give me a chance. I have had such a crush on you for so long and this and that and this and that, and then you finally let your guard down. Like it's very similar to the ad that KFC just put out with their wedges, and they were like, "Here, damn." Like very day, it's like, okay, sure, fine, I'll give you a chance. And then as soon as you kind of let that guard down a little, and you start putting forth even a little bit of your time, effort, energy, attention, they start to switch up. And for me, I'm the type of person as to where abandonment issues, you know, recovering self hater, all the different things that have impacted my mental health negatively throughout my lifetime. It's easy for me in a moment, especially when there's no evidence of such, to start feeling insecure, to start to convince myself that for whatever reason, I'm in a space now where I have to believe that if there's a problem, I must be a part of it. Oh, well, they're not texting back as quickly as they used to. I must have done something wrong. They're not calling back like they said that they were going to. I must have said something that they didn't like. Now, mind you, I can completely review every conversation, every text message, every thought that I've ever had, every way that I've ever shown up. Can't imagine. Can't imagine. But for whatever reason, I'm gonna start to beat myself up about it because like now I'm like, well, damn, like things were just cool. What's wrong? Am I, or do they not like me anymore? Like whatever. Insecure shit. Insecure. And I understand that. But one thing that I recently did for myself that I'm so grateful for, that I'm so proud of, is that I let go of the need to make that about myself. I let go of the need to continue to obsess over it. And I let somebody simply know, like, hey, It seems like for whatever reason that whatever you were thinking that you wanted to do as far as an experience with me is clearly not what you're wanting to do right now. I'm a fact-based person. And based on my experiences, there are no facts that support that. So instead of me lingering on, being in my head, kind of start growing to resent you, I'm going to bow out. Thank you so much for the opportunity. If you want some friendship from me, maybe we can explore that down the line. And it felt so good because I could have been sad and I could have been down and I could have been depressed, which I'll be honest, I did post on my social media that I was hurt, disappointed, and confused because I was, because in a moment it just didn't make sense. But it also made me feel really good to know that I was able to kind of make that exclamation, that declaration, and then just keep moving forward. And I can honestly say this was like earlier in the week, full transparency. And since then, I've had an incredible week. And then shortly after that, I had a moment with a friend where, and this kind of triggered a big part of this conversation. I had a moment with a friend where we were having text message conversation. And for anybody that has ever had a misunderstanding based over a text messaging conversation, you know that context and tone are not things that it can always be read in the conversation. And in a moment, I made a joke about something and they responded in a way that I thought was them being serious. And I was like, okay, you might be dealing with something and my joke might have made you uncomfortable, but watch how you talk to me. That was the only thing that I was trying to express. And then from there, it was like, oh no, I knew that you were being playful. I knew I was being playful too. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, my bad. I misinterpreted. All good. And then from there, it turned into this very expanded conversation about all of these different things that, for me, in my mind, had nothing to do with the original moment. And we're now talking about things that I had done, things that I hadn't done, about how it was inappropriate for me to be joking about something that they were sensitive about. And I'm just like, okay, this has turned into something completely different. And now I feel like I'm on trial, like I've done something wrong when all I ever did was mistake your tone in a message, acknowledge that I mistook it, and was trying to move on from it. And it's one of those things where I hadn't really talked about it. I haven't talked to anybody about it. I talked to somebody about it this morning that does not come in my life, that doesn't know this person. I just needed to kind of like have the conversation objectively with somebody that wasn't going to be like biased. But I just needed to talk my way through it because it was bothering me because like I was left on the other side of it feeling like I was handling this situation so maturely and being so rational and trying to, in whatever ways that I could, diffuse it before it got to a place of conflict. And now I'm starting to feel like an asshole because in every paragraph that we're sending back and forth through text message now, it's becoming more and more aggressive and more combative and more about you did this and you said that. And it's like, I'm not doing this. And so honestly, now I'm in a space as to where, and this goes back to the whole letting go of it all, as to where I felt bad because I felt that my misunderstanding of a moment created this whole conversation. And now there's this even deeper, bigger misunderstanding with this friend. But there was a certain point within the conversation where I recognized that at this point, you have actively decided that beyond anything that I could say to try to clarify, to try to diffuse, to try to, not allow this to grow into anything bigger, you've already decided that you feel the way that you feel. You've already decided that you do not want to understand anything that I have to say, and that you are committed to this narrative that you have written for yourself, and that beyond this moment, I'm going to let you have that. Because if it continues to press forth, there's not going to be any way for us to have a conversation because I'm going to have snapped off and we're not going to be cool anymore. And I actively try not to show that to people that I care about. I want to always be kind to people that I care about. But it's time out as far as my peace, as far as my mental health, as far as the ways that I show up in life, for me to be catering to other people's stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I want to be considerate. I want to be compassionate. I want to be caring. However, I can't, I can't I can't handle you like a cup of tea if you're not a person in my life that I'm putting myself in the position to handle that. God bless you. Get somebody else to do it. And that may seem harsh and it may seem mean and it may seem a lot of other things, but it's my truth. And I feel secure in that. That's valid for me. And I don't need anybody else's opinion about it. Please share because I'm always grateful for other people's opinions, but I don't need your opinion about it. Like it is what it is because I'm going to do what I want to in that regard. And for me, it's about understanding that I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not going to be made to feel like I did anything wrong. And if this creates an issue moving forward, then I hope that you're able to find a way to settle yourself through that issue because I'm not responsible for that and I'm not going to go out and do anything for you. But all of that being said, because I talked a lot and I told y'all a lot of my business in a very short period of time, I would just encourage anybody that's in a place as to where they are actively seeking to improve any area of their lives, change anything, shift some things just to kind of have a better experience. It's important to recognize that sometimes you have to look full scope inspection of the experience and look around and see, okay, I keep saying that I want these things and I don't understand why I'm not able to get them. I keep working so hard, but it seems like I'm never getting to the level that I want to get to. I keep actively seeking these things, but for whatever reason, it seems like I can't obtain them. Instead of thinking about what it is that is missing, what it is that you are doing wrong, what it is that maybe you don't have that puts you in the position to qualify. Think about what it is that might be holding you back. Think about what it is that might be acting as an anchor for you. Think about what it is that you may be needing to let go of that's going to free up whatever is needed to be freed up in order for you to get to that next level. I said a lot of things that I said, and I try not to do this. I'm not an air and dirty laundry person when it comes to my personal spaces. I just have been a little flustered and frustrated. So I think for me, having a platform today, I said this will be my ultimate outlet. And I think I treat this and other spaces that I have as that. This is like my diary that I get to share with other people and hopefully get some feedback and open the door to more expansive conversations that will help me learn and grow and become better and hopefully do the same for others. But with all of that being said, I just hope that we all learn that as much as we hold on to things for whatever reasons that we hold on to them, there's so much freedom, there's so much peace, there's so much to gain sometimes in just being willing to let something go. Think about it. And until next time, love y'all.